Singapore's Straits Times Index barely moved in this June window, but the top of the board still had a clear shape. SATS led with a 13% gain, followed by SGX and Singapore Airlines. Then came a bank cluster: OCBC, UOB and DBS in ranks 4, 5 and 6. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We are continuing our global market series with the top 10 Straits Times Index stocks for June 2026, using the window until June 24. For clarity, figures in this video are rounded, and currency amounts are in Singapore dollars unless specified otherwise. Let us count down the Singapore names that held up best. At number 10, Genting Singapore gained 2%. This looks like relative resilience. In a nearly flat index, casino and leisure exposure needed only a small push to reach the top 10. At number 9, Keppel Land Integrated Commercial Trust rose 2%. Its standout move was reshaping the portfolio, buying the Paragon Mall on Orchard Road for about $4 billion, while selling Asia Square Tower 2, a swap the manager says lifts distributions per unit by about 2%. Unit holders were asked to approve it at a June meeting, which kept the REIT in focus. At number 8, Keppel gained 3%. On June 9th, it pushed deeper into data centers, with its third data center fund securing land for a new 60-megawatt site in Ansan, South Korea, its first in the country. That fits Keppel's pivot toward asset management and digital infrastructure. At number 7, Wilmar International climbed 4%. In early June, it agreed to a roughly $1.2 billion joint venture with TGI Group, merging their food and farming businesses across Nigeria and Benin into an equally owned company. Deal gave the agribusiness name a fresh growth story outside the banks and aviation stocks. At number 6, DBS Group rose 5%, opening the Singapore bank cluster. Through June, the three big banks traded near record highs, helped by capital return dividends, with DBS adding one for both 2026 and 2027. For DBS, this is broad bank strength rather than a company-only move. At number 5, UOB gained 6%, sitting between DBS and OCBC. The same story carried all three: forward dividend yields around 4 to 5%, steady capital returns, and a banking sector that kept outperforming a flat STI. When all three major banks land in the upper half, the message is that investors still backed the big local lenders. At number 4, OCBC advanced 7%, the strongest of the three banks this window. It also traded near an all-time high, with its own capital return dividend for 2026 underpinning the move. The point matters because the STI was almost flat, while OCBC still delivered a high single-digit gain. At number 3, Singapore Airlines rose 9%, just behind SGX and SATS. The likely read is rotation into Singapore travel and aviation-linked names. The only fresh company news was a routine bond sale late in June, a 5-year offshore yuan bond of about $221 million to help fund aircraft. At number 2, Singapore Exchange also gained 9%. On June 11, it reported that May trading had surged, with securities turnover up 70% compared to last year, to about $46 billion, and daily cash equity trading at its highest since 2007. Booming volumes feed straight into the exchange's fee income, which helps explain the move. And at number 1, SATS led the Straits Times Index with a 13% gain, the strongest move in the 30-stock universe, and the only top 10 gain above 10%. The spark was record full-year results posted on May 25th. Profit up 17% to $285 million, and revenue topping $6 billion for the first time. Analysts turned more positive afterward, and that re-rating looks like it carried SATS through June. And on the other side of the leaderboard, Hongkong Land fell 7%, the weakest STI constituent in the window. The simplest read is continued caution around its Hong Kong property exposure. It gave the episode a useful contrast against the banks, aviation, and market infrastructure. Singapore's June STI story was restrained but revealing. 15 stocks rose, 14 fell, and 1 was unchanged. SATS lid on post-results momentum, SGX on record trading volumes, and the big banks rode a sector re-rating, while Wilmar and Keppel landed deals of their own. If you found this useful, like the video, subscribe to Global Market Series, and comment with your pick: banks, aviation, or market infrastructure. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.